Hey, dude. So yeah, I just got home. So I'm just gonna do a video here. It might be, I don't know how long, we'll see. I just want to go over the three options that I was talking to you about. Um, so this first one here, so you see that I'm on the weekly time frame and 10 weeks. Okay, so 10 weeks, which would be 70 days, obviously. All right, so looking at this one, we'll go back to zoom out a little bit here so that we can go back in time a little bit. All right, so you look at this one here, and then we're lining up. So, like going 10 weeks ahead, it's not perfect timing for finding the bottom at 10 weeks, right? But it's close, right? At the top here, it's not perfect for finding the first top, right? But it's close. The second top, maybe that's the one that you wait for. I don't know. This period of time here is a little bit funny on the 1 week, on the 10-week period, because this is the opposite, right? So we get the bottom, and then we have the first leg up. Let's say that's this one. I'm not sure. Maybe one of these here. We got one peak, two peaks, so maybe that's this. Blip, blip, right? And then we get this next one, and then we come down. We get this next one, and then we come down, and then we get this run up, which I don't know where that is, right? So where is this peak here? It's almost, is it this little thing here, right? And then as it falls, Bitcoin goes up. So this is a little bit of an anomaly here. As this falls, Bitcoin goes up. And then we have this plateau here, and then it goes up and we get highs, and then it goes sideways, and these lows, this buy-in range lines up, and then we go up to the peak here, and then we kind of have an up and then down, and then a little bit of an up and then down, and my guess is this we're in this area here somewhere. Okay, so this works out really close for when you're on the week, right? Because it's averaged out over 7 days. When you go closer into the daily, right? So let's go to 70 days. Okay. And then we'll go down to daily. So it'll line up a little bit better. And then, oh, hey, what's going on here? Why is it doing that? Bring it way down. There you go. Okay, so we go to 70 days. Now, these peaks, they don't line up as closely anymore because we're not on the weekly, we're on the daily. So it's zoomed in, it's more accurate, right? So the peak happened earlier. Okay, see that? Um, and then over here, this peak is pretty close, right? It's pretty bang on. Or this, not peak, but the dip. This one here, it's pretty close, but it's not perfect either, right? A few days. The 10th to the 15th, it's 5 days, right? And then we go down here, and this dip and the deepest dip over here aren't exactly lined up either anymore, right? So we go a little bit further over. This is the anomaly where this is going down and BTC is going up. Sorry, that's a strange one. Okay, but then you have this peak. This one happened a little bit earlier. I guess it could be fudged over, right? It's pretty similar. Okay. And then this comes down. This is more or less of a sideways move, I guess. Like it's not a perfect exact science. That's where you gotta like probabilities and trying to use discretion comes in, right? And then you see here, you've got the dip right there, but it's not exact. Okay, so this is 70-day. Now, what if we go to a 75-day? Does it make it a little bit more accurate? Right? It's still within like the 10-week period. Okay, so the problem is this one here puts the the bottom date a little bit even less accurate than the other one. Okay, now this here, you move it over, still accurate on this top. Move this over, right? This, like, are you going with this bottom, this bottom? Again, it's not perfect. This top is pretty close, right? This bottom here is closer, I guess, now. You could cheat it over. It's negligible. Now this top is almost perfect, right? That peak is almost perfect. All right, and then you got your peak, and then you kind of come down, and then you go up again here, and then down. This is basically sideways, but we went up here. So like it's not exactly day to day for each move. But this one would bring the bottom, which is lower than the other bottoms. Doesn't mean it has to be on Bitcoin, right? Because over here, um, let's see an example. Like over here, all these were the same. This is the lowest one over here, but it's not the lowest over here, right? So it doesn't have to be exact, but this is a range, I guess, for Bitcoin. So I'm expecting it to drop down over the next little bit, over the next several days. Okay. Now the other idea, so that's how it matches up. It's close. It's not exactly perfect to the day, but it's close for the tops and the bottoms, right? It looks pretty good. Again, here we had a big dip down in M2, but we didn't get a huge dip down on on Bitcoin. So it's not exactly perfect. So that's where it makes it difficult. All we can do is just kind of give our best bet, our best guess based on what we see and the probabilities of it happening. Now, the other idea is if it doesn't happen next week, what do we do? If Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday they go by, what do we do? So that's where we need to think about that. So like if we put in 105 days here, what does it look like, right? Without just saying no, we're not going to look at that. Oops, that's 150. I think we should at least look at it and then see what we want to decide. So here, 105, the bottom is way out, right? The bottom's way out. And then like you have this first top and it goes down, second top and it goes down. And then we have an up here and then again the down, but BTC is still going up, right? So this doesn't match as well. You can see that the tops are not great. Um, the bottoms aren't exactly in line either. Okay. I don't think this one matches up as well. Right? So this is the first peak, the second peak. Let me jump over here and see off this other chart. See, looking at this BTC over here, the second peak is the one that made it a little bit higher, just a hair higher, right? They both closed at about the same. Oop, where am I? So they both closed at about the same. So Like M2 only has a single peak. So if it had a double peak, it would be much easier to match it up. So am I matching this up with the second peak or matching this up with the first peak? And then it comes down, right? It goes up. Now the guy on uh, on X seems to think that we are here rather than like over here. So he's expecting some more down and then sideways, and that's where he thinks we are. Now, based on everything else, it seems like the 105-day is too much of a lead. That's what I think. And it's not only me that thinks that, like Raoul Pal, he says that it's a 10-week lead, right? So that makes me feel a little bit better with what I think, but it's at least worth matching it up and seeing, right? Like this doesn't line up well. This doesn't line up well. Like this here doesn't line up well. So the bottom here doesn't line up very well. So I think the most likely scenario is the 75-day. 75-day looks to me like it's the most accurate. Now, like even with the 75-day, it isn't perfect either, but it's a lot closer. See? It's a lot closer than the 105-day, even though that it isn't exactly perfect. So that's what we have to decide on what we want to go with. If we don't see another leg down before the end of this coming week, then we have to decide. Okay, the thing is either way, we should see a leg down, and that's the tricky part. Because if we're here, we should see this leg down, and if we're here, there should be a little bit of a leg down, but there might not be because it's not a huge difference, right? So it's tough. I wish I could say, yeah, it's going to do this because I've seen it in the future, but I don't know. I think our best choice, and I want to hear what you think. Obviously, also, our best choice right now is to see where we're at by the 28th, 28th, which is Friday. See where we're at by Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of deal, this area, a week from today. And like it's turned over, it looks like it's coming down a little bit, but yeah, we'll see. Now that I have it here, let's go to others, right? It matches really well with others, right? As a matter of fact, with others, let's just see here. See, others matches pretty well, right? You have the same anomaly where M2 goes down, but others goes up right here. Right? And then the bottom, right? The bottom doesn't line up perfectly either. And I've noticed that with when M2 kind of goes sideways, others bleeds either into stablecoins or Bitcoin because when others you see it's just kind of trending sideways here, others just went down. All right, I guess it kind of went sideways also on this one. On this one here, it was going sideways and others was going down until it, and this bottom here lines up pretty good. So like it would be so much easier if it lined up with line for line perfectly, but it doesn't. So we just have to try to do our best with it. Like it's really close, right? And this is a 70 day. No, this is 75 day. And if we go with others to 70 day, let's see, you get a better bottom, I guess, here. But this is where we want to buy Bitcoin anyways. So not really concerned so much about the others in this area for the first year. All right, we go from 20, basically January 21st, and then in 2024, we had that big run up. Sorry, this is taking me a while. So January, February, March, April, May, June. Right, that we had a big run up from the bottom on some of the others, right? Especially from June up. Sorry, I'm just kind of thinking this through because I remember like last year at this time we had our biggest, our portfolio was the biggest it's ever been. And if it was liquid and we saw that others stalled out and was going sideways, it would have been a good opportunity to take all that profit and wait for it to bottom and then go back in here. And then we saw the same thing happen over here and then take profit there. We would be killing it right now. Anyways, we didn't, so we didn't know. So yeah, like that's the tough thing is I guess my best guess is we wait and see if this rolls over one more time. See, this thing here lines up really well with the 75 day, but we didn't get this final roll over yet. So maybe the 70 day or the 70, maybe the 75 day, the same as Bitcoin, is a bit more accurate. Right? Though that this bottom lines up really well. I think that's what we have to do is just wait and see if this comes back down. It's so close, right? Like what is that percentage in others? Right? It can be as much as 20, no, 10, 11%, 12%. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on it after watching this video? Sorry, I know it's a little bit long. Looks like we might end up getting a rollover here. We don't know, right? Because we've had these before. We'll see if this turns around and flips back up again. But hopefully, this pump gives us a good pump on Bitcoin and others. The only thing that makes me wonder how good is that it's basically going up to its previous high. All right, let's look at it here. Now it's a lot. It's on this one here. It's quite a bit higher than its previous high, right? And when it's done that before, we had this where it kind of came down and made a more of a previous. It just broke its last all-time high on this one, right? And what did that look like for Bitcoin? For others, I guess we're on right now. So for others, when it did that, right, it came up and made another high. It did really well from the bottom. It did this move, right? It did this move, I guess, from there. From there up, did this move, which is almost 1x, almost 100% on others. So I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. All we can do is try to figure it out. All right, I'm going to cut it here. It's probably 10 minutes long. I don't know.